Fujifilm sent me to Japan to help launch their new X100VI. I thought to myself, shit, they picked me for one of the biggest camera launches of the year. Now, I have to make something awesome. And I'm sure you've heard the specs by now. 40 megapixel sensor, 6.2K footage, and in-body image stabilization, to name a few. So, I flew to Japan with 5 other creators to test the camera, and I quickly found myself overwhelmed. Not overwhelmed by the camera, but by Tokyo's beauty and busyness, my insane jet lag, and the pressure to make sure I came home with content that was good enough. As a filmmaker and photographer, there is a fine line between worrying that you are making something that will get validated and truly just living. But making art while still being present is what I remembered the X100 series being best at. It's small enough that I honestly forgot I was carrying it, has a beautifully designed body and lens, and is technologically advanced enough to be both efficient and help you be your most creative. So after a couple days in Japan, I stopped stressing myself out. I let go of the concept of coming home with something mind-blowing, and I just lived. And my favorite thing about this camera is that it doesn't get in the way of living. And it makes life look tangible, beautiful, and memorable. I make photos and films not just for validation, but to connect with others and to document feelings. And at the end of the day, I came home with everything I needed. Images to look back on and always remember how it felt to be in Tokyo for the first time with some of the best people. Thank you guys for watching that little short film on the X100VI. I was sent to Japan by Fujifilm to help launch this camera. However, I do want to give you my honest thoughts and opinions and answer your burning questions about the new release. So the first burning question, is this camera worth upgrading from the X100V? Not necessarily, unless a 40 megapixel sensor or internal image stabilization would really improve your workflow. For me, I'm somebody who absolutely loves taking slow shutter photos. So the IBIS for me is super, super important. And I can't lie, I do kind of like the higher megapixels. However, if you're just posting to social media, I don't think it's really that necessary. This camera did include some video spec upgrades, which as a filmmaker, I was truly, truly excited about. However, I will say that as a serious filmmaker, I probably would never use the X100VI as a serious video dedicated camera. And I don't think that that's why they added the video features in the first place. I still personally prefer using my XS20 or my XH2S, which are 2 incredibly powerful video cameras that Fujifilm makes. And I would prefer to keep my video workflow centered around those 2 cameras while keeping the X100VI centered around photography, which I believe is its strong suit anyways. We all know and love the X100 series for its insanely awesome photography. 6.2K and IBIS and f-log2 and 422 10-bit color coming out of a camera this small is super, super awesome. And I do appreciate their upgrades to those features. I do think that it could be super usable for people who are going out and traveling. And if you like to do those video postcards, this could be a camera that could help you get video postcards or just random in the moment shots. I really do think that this camera does take good video, but just not for professional purposes. The 422 10-bit color grades extremely nicely. I did try f-log2, which is my favorite way to film on Fujifilm cameras, is using f-log2. Image grades super nicely, just like all my other Fujifilm cameras. However, the 6.2K on the X100VI is a different flavor of 6.2K, is not open gate, meaning it's not using the entire sensor like the XS20 or the XH2S does. Who is this camera for? If you're a street photographer, if you're wanting an everyday camera, if you want something that gets out of your way, or if you're wanting to learn photography and you don't want to be really overwhelmed by the lens choices and carrying around something that's going to be a little bit more cumbersome, I do think that this is a worthwhile investment. Please think about whether you prioritize video or photo and what you are looking to photograph or shoot or film or whatever it is that you need to do. I would really take a look at what you need the camera for and decide whether a fixed lens, small point and shoot style camera is right for your workflow. Another burning question, are these straight out of camera JPEGs really that good? And I will say, yes, they are. I spent the entire week in Japan and I came back with only JPEGs. The JPEGs are extremely editable if you do want to edit them. The highlight retention of the JPEGs is shockingly good. Anytime I say straight out of camera, I am not lying. I will show you some straight out of camera photos right now that I took in Miami. Okay, dope. So you get it. Would I recommend this camera? 10,000%, yes. Camera is the perfect travel photography camera. I cannot stress that enough. It literally takes the most gorgeous photos that I have taken with any camera, and it is the closest that I have come to of being able to replicate the dynamic range and the beauty of film in a digital body. That's all I gotta say. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.